What's happening in the energy market? How long will this volatility last? As a journalist tracking the energy space, I have literally woken up to this question every day for the last 1 year. I'm happy that I am sitting today with somebody who has an ear to the ground and who is involved with countries across the world in advising them on framing policies on energy. Welcome to India and welcome to Moneycontrol, Dr. Birol.
Thank you very much.
It's been a very interesting time last 1 year, and IEA came out with a report in October where they said that this year has been a year of unprecedented complexity and depth of crisis in terms of the energy market. Given how things have panned out since then, where do we stand right now?
I mean, in fact, 24th of February was the start of the war. And only a week later, 1st of March, I remember I had a press conference and I told your colleagues that I believe we are entering the first global energy crisis, and our world has never ever witnessed an energy crisis of this depth and of this complexity. And we are seeing today energy and geopolitics are interwoven. For my taste, too much, but it is geopolitics dominating the game for now. And the question we asked ourselves, whether or not this energy crisis would slow down or accelerate the energy transition, clean energy transition. At that time, my guess was in March last year, it would accelerate the clean energy transition. And when I look at the numbers as of today, almost 1 year later, I see that we were spot on, because we have seen huge increase in renewables, major improvement in electric car sales, efficiency around the world increased substantially. Nuclear power is making a comeback around the world. And as a result, we are seeing that the clean energy options are turbocharged around the world as a response to this energy crisis. In the past, clean energy technologies were mainly driven for environmental climate reasons, but now the number one driver of clean energy is energy security. People, governments want to build clean energy in order to reduce their reliance on a few countries around the world. So I see where we are today. Clean energy is growing very strongly, but oil and gas markets are still volatile, and 2023 will be a challenging year, especially for the energy importing developing countries.
That's very interesting because there has been much speculation on where crude oil is headed from here. I mean, it's tested the $80 mark and gone below that. And there is a section which feels that it could probably go up again to a level of $100. I mean, how are you gauging the situation right now? And 2023, you are saying, will be challenging. Will it be more challenging than 2022?
So there are so many uncertainties, but if I have to pick up one of them, which could change the entire market developments, it is China. China, as we all know, China is the number one oil importer of the world, number one LNG importer of the world, and last year, 2022, Chinese oil and gas consumption, domestic consumption, declined for the first time since 40 years. We have never seen that before. As a result, Chinese oil imports were limited, and Chinese LNG import declined for the first time in the history. Now, China is opening up. How this opening up will affect their economy and therefore their oil demand, LNG imports, is a key question. If it's a strong rebound of the Chinese economy, this will put upward pressure on the oil demand and therefore on the oil prices. And when we come to that level, then we have to see how the producers, OPEC plus countries, are going to respond to that demand increase if it happens.
There are too many variables playing out. There is obviously the China demand, the EU sanctions coming in on Russian energy, and of course there are concerns over high interest rate. Given all that, is there a range that you expect crude to move in, and what is the general expectation? Would it be as volatile as last year, or do you think at least the delta would be smaller?
So by law, I can't give you any price figure. But what I can tell you is that the current price levels we are experiencing now is perhaps the limit for many energy importing developing countries to fall into recession. So when we talk about the impact of high energy price on the economy, there is a lot of discussion about Europe, as it is the epicenter of the current conflict. But Russia's invasion of Ukraine made it clear that the gas markets will go through difficult times in Europe. When it comes to oil markets, if the prices go higher than today, it will be a major challenge for the developing countries. So it is the reason why I very much hope that the oil exporting countries will, in that case, if the demand goes up strongly, will bring more oil in the markets, more barrels in the markets to comfort the markets so that the prices are kept at least these levels or lower, in order to not hurt the economies of developing countries further.
So, of course, that is something that will play out. India being an importing country, that's something that we are very cautious about. The renewable space, we have been adding a much capacity there, and IEA has said that India would be among the top growth zones when it comes to energy demand. What could derail that for the country? I mean, we are adding renewable, but if you look at the Indian policy, what are the gaps that we need to work on now? What would be your advice?
Now, India is making huge steps in the right direction. Renewables, big growth there. Hydrogen, again, the green hydrogen, India is very, very strongly moving. In terms of energy efficiency, recent Energy Efficiency Act is excellent, but these are not enough to have the oil and gas completely behind us. It will take some time, and the only thing I would like to see is that the India needs to improve how India is using energy. Here, I would like to say that the recent concept put on the table by Prime Minister Modi, LiFE, it is an excellent one, which could help India to use energy more wisely in a less wasteful manner, as our study coming out tomorrow will show. And I believe, in addition to the technologies we are talking about, the renewables, efficiency, hydrogen, and nuclear power, I think India and Indian people have to use energy in a less wasteful manner. And in my view, India, with this LiFE agenda, can be a source of inspiration many countries around the world.
Dr. Birol, you have earlier said that, hydropower needs to move up in terms of priority when we are planning our, energy transition. Now, India has a lot of potential there. And also in terms of kind of consolidating the portfolio, it would have really be a good fit to kind of consolidate the renewable power, right? But recently, there are concerns on hydropower projects in India. One of our hill stations, Joshimath, is sinking, and there is concern that it's because of the hydropower project in that location. I want to understand from you, I mean, it's a very old argument between sustainability and growth. How do we push the hydro agenda without really damaging the ecosystem?
So when the world talks about renewable energy, it is solar and wind people talk about. But today, when we look at the numbers, hydropower's contribution globally is higher than solar and wind. And the potential is huge. For me, hydropower is the sleeping giant of the renewable energy. And if hydropower is developed in a sustainable manner, for me, but it is a very important technology which can help us for generating electricity without emissions, and also help the solar and wind becoming a secure electricity source. So for me, hydropower is a big yes, but it should be developed in a sustainable manner.
One last question. You have spoken about China, how important it will be in terms of the demand for crude. But the other aspect is that China continues to be the number one producer for all manufactured goods for the renewable industry. I mean, there's much dependence on China for that aspect. Is that a very big risk when you are looking at projections of the kind of green energy the world is adding? India has plans, but where do we stand on that right now?
So today, China is dominating the clean energy technology manufacturing. Batteries, solar panels, windmills, electrolyzers, nuclear power. Why? Because China has started this many years ago, implemented, and has an important advantage there. And China, the world also benefited from China bringing the cost of these technologies down. But the entire world relying on one single country for a technology is not a good situation. It can be China, it can be this or that country. There is a need for diversification. And it is the reason, it is a very good step from India's side, this production-linked incentives for United States Inflation Reduction Act. Europe is coming, Japan is coming, other Asian countries are coming. It is important to have a diversification because clean energy is good, but it should be also secure when we look at the entire supply chain. The diversification is the magic word. Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you very
Birol.
much.
Much
Thank you.
appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.